Here for the first time, Negro aviation cadets were being groomed to fly warplanes of a unit which was then a unit in thought only, the 99th Pursuit Squadron. These men were pioneers of a venture so new that you who stand here before me now, after 3 years, may still be considered forerunners in the movement which has given you a place in the fighting men of the sky.
This F-4 is representative of today's modern Air Force. It's an Air Force which has come a long way. Sophisticated weapon systems, sophisticated people. Today, you or me or anybody who's qualified can fly this airplane. But it hasn't always been that way. Some 35 years ago, a group of young men and women came together to help make the Air Force what it is today. You might even say they made a little history in the process. It all began in the skies over Tuskegee, Alabama.
I remember Tuskegee because they started what they call the civilian pilot training program amongst 5 black colleges.
They wanted qualified black people to start flying.
The only reason I knew something about the program was because my mother was teaching out at Tuskegee, and she had heard about the starting up this black Air Corps.
The day after Pearl Harbor, the whole gang went down and applied for admission to the aviation cadet training program, and it wasn't until a year later, though, that I was admitted.
I think Chappie had to wait for about approximately a year or a year and a half before he went into the program.
I was the only black in my school that signed up for the Air Force, and they didn't know what to do with me.
Our going into combat gave a lot of credibility to our race.
One of the prime contributors to leadership in the early part of the flying program was Chief Anderson.
There we are, standing on the southeast, northwest runway of what used to be Tuskegee's Army Air Field. Here's where the cadets came after finishing in the Moton Field to take the advanced training. They're housed here in barracks up on the hill there. You barely see some of the old chimneys standing where the barracks used to be. Over behind this hill here was headquarters. And there's the original building that was built here at the beginning of the Army Air Force training program. Out here further, off to my right, is where the flight line was. And then the planes were lined up all along that ramp up there. There's various types of aircraft up there here at one time. The pilots used to come out and fly. They'd practice out here on this strip. They were all tail draggers, and sometime when I got a chance to come over here and see them take off and land, I really got a big kick out of it. It really does bring back old memories. Most of the fellows over here who flew over here came through the Moton Field. They being chief pilot over there, I got acquainted with them, and I always look forward to seeing them get their wings, which most of them did. There was a great desire among a number of blacks to get into aviation. And this is about the only place that they could come to where they had an opportunity to learn something about flying.
I myself applied for flying training way back in 1935.
I was 18 when I went into the program, 19 when I became a pilot.
I was just really a country boy trying to make it.
I think one of the most exhilarating feelings was to me when I first was able to get up there by myself and really fly that airplane and make it do what I wanted it to do.
The interesting common fact, though, that surrounded all of their backgrounds was that all of them had wanted to fly.
I think one of the principal things about General Davis, he instilled in us a sense of discipline.
Well, I started out with these young people back in a black Air Force in Europe in World War II. Performance is the absolute key in combat. To protect the bombers, to prevent them from getting shot down by enemy fighters, the 99th Pursuit Squadron was an expert in dropping bombs and hitting targets and hitting locomotives. It was also an expert in aerial combat. The 99th Squadron did one thing at Anzio that no other squadron did. It shot down 16 enemy airplanes.
We had quite a bit of competition amongst the squadron trying to make ace. And we had a few that came near. When we did get into scraps, we got some real good ones, and we had quite a few decorations.
Yesterday, I fulfilled one of my ambitions as a combat pilot. I got one airplane, and the second ship was me, and two Focke-Wulfs came on my right. I turned right and put up a stone wall.
The primary mission then was bombing strategic targets like Ploesti, and we flew one mission there that took us all the way up to the Czechoslovakian Polish border. 1,500 miles. It was the longest mission I ever flew. I think I logged 7 hours and 25 minutes. But I think it's safe to say that the Germans knew about us and respected us. We were the only outfit that didn't lose a bomber.
That's a historical
The only outfit.
General Chappie James.
No, it was in 1943 that I completed flight training at Tuskegee Institute, Alabama. We've come a long way since then. In the early days at Tuskegee, in addition to the already difficult job of flying, we trained under the additional pressures of segregation. But we had no time for self-pity or despair. We were too busy preparing ourselves for a career of service to our nation. The state of our fully integrated Air Force today is a pretty good indication that we did a good job. But that doesn't mean that the future will be a rose garden, or that there will not be other obstacles to overcome. Freedom must be repurchased by every new generation. When the Tuskegee flying program was offered to America's black youngsters, we were ready. We had prepared ourselves for this opportunity, and when it presented itself, we grabbed it with both hands. Prepare yourself so that when your Tuskegee appears, you will be ready.
They were just exceptional people.
There's no doubt about that. They're exceptional people. And I'm thinking they're the cream of the crop.